Imagine being cast out of your tribe, not because you broke a rule, not because you hurt anyone, just because you preferred being alone. Today, that sounds like a personality trait. Tens of thousands of years ago, it could have been a death sentence. Think about the last time you turned down an invitation, or put your phone on silent for an entire day. Maybe you called it recharging. But what if that ordinary feeling is actually the echo of an ancient survival instinct? A conflict between what your mind wants today and what your brain was built to fear for hundreds of thousands of years. Here's the strange part. Humans are one of the most social species on Earth. We built villages, cities, religions, entire civilizations just to stay connected. And yet millions of people genuinely enjoy solitude. Some even need it to feel like themselves. So how can a species that survived only by relying on others also crave isolation? The answer starts with a world that no longer exists. No streetlights, no locked doors, no hospitals, just endless wilderness, where every sound in the dark could be a predator, where a small cut could become a fatal infection, where surviving tomorrow depended far more on the group than on individual strength. When people imagine prehistoric humans, they picture a lone hunter battling a mammoth with a spear. It's a great image. It's also mostly wrong. For most of human history, surviving alone wasn't impressive. It was incredibly dangerous. Our real superpower was never strength or speed. It was cooperation. Our ancestors lived in small bands. Every person had a role. Trackers, toolmakers, caretakers, lookouts. Together, they formed something far stronger than any individual. A living survival machine. But if living together was so essential, why did some people still prefer being alone? Did that even exist back then? Nature gives us a clue. Wolves leave the pack to scout new territory. Chimpanzees explore alone before returning. Even elephants split into smaller groups before regathering. There's a difference between permanent isolation and temporary solitude. One could get you killed. The other could actually save your life. A hunter slipping away before sunrise to track fresh prey. Someone walking to a distant river for better stone. In these moments, being alone wasn't weakness. Sometimes it's what kept everyone else alive. But there was a price. The longer you stayed away, the greater the chance you never came back. A hidden snake, a twisted ankle, a sudden storm. Without anyone nearby, even a small injury could turn fatal. That risk slowly rewired the human brain. Over countless generations, we developed an alarm system not just for danger, but for distance from the group. Being alone stopped meaning no company. It became a warning sign. And evolution didn't just reward togetherness. It made prolonged isolation feel unbearable. Anxiety, restlessness, the urge to reconnect. What we now call missing someone may have started as one of the most effective survival tools our species ever built. For a long time, scientists believed intelligence alone explained our success. But maybe our real advantage wasn't just thinking better. It was staying together better than any other species on the planet. A chimpanzee is stronger than a human. A gorilla could overpower us easily. Physically, we were never the strongest. Yet neither of them built civilizations or crossed oceans. We did, because we mastered something they never could, sharing knowledge. Think about fire. For one person, it meant warmth. For a group, it meant something far greater. A place to cook, to repair tools, to strengthen bonds. And most importantly, to tell stories. Those stories weren't entertainment. They were survival manuals. A child could learn which rivers were dangerous without ever falling in. A hunter could learn which berries were poison without ever tasting one. A group alone could pass down centuries of hard-earned knowledge in a single night by the fire. Long before writing existed, humanity had already built something remarkable. A collective memory. And that's exactly why belonging became so valuable. Protection. Food. Someone to watch you while you slept. Someone to notice if you never came back. Losing that connection meant losing almost everything. This is where prehistory starts bleeding into your everyday life. Ever felt strangely hurt after being ignored in a conversation? Or checked your phone for a reply that never came? Brain scans reveal something wild. The same regions that process physical pain also activate during social rejection. Your brain treats exclusion almost like an injury, a harsh comment online, being left out of a group chat. It lingers not because you're overly sensitive, but because your nervous system evolved in a world where losing the group could mean losing your life. So then, why do some people genuinely enjoy being alone? Because being alone isn't the same as being lonely. Today, you can lock your door, make coffee, and sit in silence, knowing help is one phone call away. That safety changes everything. Our ancestors rarely had that luxury. Psychologists even separate the two. Solitude is chosen. Loneliness is imposed. And the brain treats them completely differently. Chosen solitude activates networks tied to creativity and self-reflection. That's why your best ideas show up in the shower or on a quiet walk. Your brain never stops working. Sometimes it just works better in silence. But stay away too long, and you lose something just as vital as food: information. Who found new water? Where the herd moved? Who got hurt? In prehistoric life, knowledge traveled through conversation. Disconnect too long, and you disconnect from the entire survival network. And here's something remarkable researchers noticed in modern hunter-gatherer societies. Almost no one lives in total isolation. People leave to hunt, to explore, sometimes just to be alone. But they always return. Life follows a rhythm between independence and connection. Evolution likely never tried to erase quiet, introspective personalities. Groups may have actually needed them. The bold hunter who acts fast. The quiet observer who notices what everyone else misses. A subtle track, a shift in the wind before a storm. Different personalities weren't weaknesses. They were strategy. The real danger was never solitude itself. It was solitude that never ended. And even though predators no longer wait outside our doors, that ancient instinct is still very much alive inside us. Today, many of us are surrounded by millions of people, yet feel a kind of loneliness our ancestors could never have imagined. We traded tribes for cities, campfires for apartment buildings, face-to-face conversation for text messages. Technology transformed how we live. It didn't have time to transform the brain running underneath it. For our ancestors, belonging meant sharing meals, reading expressions, working side by side. Connection wasn't something you checked. It was something you lived. Today, we often mistake communication for connection. Hundreds of messages exchanged, yet many people end the day feeling like something is missing. A notification isn't a familiar face. Followers can't replace someone who would actually show up when you need them. So why do so many of us still crave silence? Even now, every social interaction quietly taxes your brain. Reading expressions, filtering tone, choosing words. It's exhausting work you don't even notice. Solitude gives that system a chance to reset. But here's the twist our ancestors never faced. Today, it's dangerously easy to confuse solitude with isolation. Order dinner without speaking to anyone. Work from home. Scroll for hours. Days pass without a single real conversation. Comfort quietly becomes habit. Habit quietly becomes distance. And that's dangerous because human connection is a skill. Like any skill, it weakens without practice. Avoid it too long and small talk starts to feel awkward. Meeting new people becomes exhausting. Not because we forgot how to socialize, but because our brains still expect regular connection. And when that expectation isn't met, something in the system starts to shift. Scientists studying the longest living populations on Earth found something consistent. Diet matters. Exercise matters. Sleep matters. But strong social bonds are one of the most powerful predictors of a long life. Not popularity, not followers, just knowing someone would answer if you called. For most of human history, survival depended on staying close to others. Today, living well depends on balance. Knowing when to seek connection and when to embrace silence. We were never built to be alone forever. But we were never built to lose ourselves in the crowd either. So the next time you choose a quiet evening alone, you're not going against your nature. You might be listening to one of its oldest instincts. Just don't forget to come back. Because long before we built cities or crossed oceans, home wasn't a place. It was the people waiting around the fire. And maybe, after all these thousands of years, we're still looking for that fire.